It's John again from SA UK. You know, one of the really cool things about operating CNC and when you start to get customers and start to sell things is that customers come up to you or come back to you and say, can you make X? And this is what happened only this week to us. Not just by one customer, but coincidentally, two customers asking for almost exactly the same thing. One here in the UK and one from the USA, which was fantastic. Now the product they'd been looking at was one of these. Don't know why you can see that. It's one of our most popular products. We sell tons of these. It's a very, very simple product. There's nothing complicated about it at all. A few holes, a few slots, and a quick bend. There is a few more bits to go into it, but that's essentially it. And we sell that all over the world. Those customers say, well, have you got a holder for one of these? And I said, funny enough, no. I said, we did look at it, but there were so many different variations of pressure washer guns that it was difficult to come up with a universal system. But then I thought that's just junk. There must be a better way of doing it. So I come up with three different options, because obviously different potential markets for this. And I thought, well, you know, let's let the market decide which works the best for them. So what I thought I'd do for today's video, I'll put that down, stop me fiddling with it. So yes, so I thought in today's video I'd go through the process of us designing the part, making the part, you know, cutting it out, fabricating it from start to finish effectively. But better than that, I'm actually going to do three parts because I've come up with three different ideas for this product that we can, you know, let the market decide which is the best. Or it may well be that for different reasons they all have their own little niche, which is another win for us if that's the case. So I hope it inspires you to consider using sheet metal work in your CNC life, because there is a phenomenal amount of business out there in this marketplace, and as you know, woodworking, there's loads of people doing that, so this is something different. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting. Let's first of all go over to the computer and we'll do the CAD and the CAM. What I plan to do is show you the CAD and CAM, creating the CAD and CAM for one thing. It's just a very quick overview. I'm not going to go into detail on the software. CNC cutting the other one out, and then I'll do the forming and the cleanup on the third one. So you'll kind of see each different one in a different part of the process. But I'll obviously put pictures at the end of all three together when they're done. Okay, so I'm going to do design first one of the three different designs I've got to do for this product, and I'm using QCAD. And the first thing that I need is a line. I know where I am. Down here, I want that to be 800 long. That's going to be the width of the product I'm making. Zoom out so we've got the length there. I know I roughly want to make the depth of the wall part of the bracket about 45, so about 45 millimeters. I work in millimeters. That's just under 2 inches. So if I put a straight line using this tool here, a distance of 45 from there, it turns grey. If I click on that link now, you see I've got two parallel lines, and I can quickly join those two lines using the straight line tool. Oops, sorry, I clicked away before I did that. Excellent. So we now got a square. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here if it's going to let me. There we go. Fantastic. Now then, I want another line at halfway between the two. So I'm going to make a construction line there. But to make the construction line, I need to know where it goes. It's a bit of a quirky package. So I'll just drop that on there like that. I can then come back and I can delete my original line, and I basically want to put two lines either side of this that are well, they're going to be 37 millimeters, but the quickest way of doing that is to just write the fraction there, because it saves me having to calculate that in my head what one actually is. And I've now got, if I measure that for you, two lines, where's my ruler, that are 37mm apart. Can't say further than that. Excellent. So now I can just quickly delete some of this extra stuff that I don't want down here. And now using this tool here, the parallel line again, I want to make that 56 tall. Now to this point I would come in and add another layer to my drawing. I do use a lot of layers, and I would call these bends. I always think about bends when I'm drawing things, and just to make it easy for me to see, I always change the colour of the bend to dark cyan, drop the line weight down, and I use a dashed line so that I can see that is indeed a bend. So I'll click on that to make sure it's highlighted. Again at the parallel line, and I'm going to make this, I'm going to go for 10mm at the moment. I may adjust this later on, but I'm going to put that bend there. So I know now that's where the first bend is going to be, and I'm probably going to change this to a bend eventually, but first of all I'm going to just tidy up some of these corners. So I'm going to put radius corner on there. I'm going to leave it at 4, I'm happy with that, I don't have any problems. Put me back onto it. In fact no, let's make that 5. How does that look? No, I don't like that. Let's try 8 there. Oh, that looks better. Nice big fat chunky bends. Excellent. So we'll do the same up there. Cool. In fact, those ones I'm going to put that down to, hey, they're a little bit smaller. That's better. That's better. Right, excellent. Okay, so now I've got a basic shape drawn out. I will put some other adjustments on here in a minute, but first of all I'm going to put a couple of slots for drill holes. I'm going to make these, I'm trying to think what I'm going to do. I'm going to do these, if we made that 100, let's go for 40, which will put them 80 apart. So doing parallel lines, give myself 2 lines of 40 again, and then to cheat here, so that was 45, so I'm halfway there, so 45 divided by 2, come down. So now I've got this guide here, I'm going to put the first one. Now I have my slots created, I have a little file with these created in, so I'm just going to copy that, because, you know, drawing out stuff that is already drawn umpteen times, absolutely pointless, and I'm just going to paste these in. So the first ones are going to go there, like so. Now obviously these ones are going to be the opposite way around. So you know what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drop them on that line. I'm going to highlight them. I'm going to flip them. I'm going to zoom in. So I'm struggling because of the on-screen editing thing there. Excellent. So now they're both selected, I can use my move tool and move those to where I want them. Zoom out again. Zoom out again. Come on. Thank you. Click away. And there we go. So I can now remove these construction lines. Yeah, like that. I can get rid of that one. And what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to get rid of these two as well, so we don't put those down there. I'm going to get rid of that section there. I will add that back in shortly, but I'm going to leave. Just going to quickly draw a radius bend in there. I'm going to bend it there anyway, but that's fine. So now we'll just go back up here, go back on my bends, go over a straight line, and there we go. That is a quick drawing of a gun holder only. So I'm going to quickly draw out the other ideas I've got for this product, and then we'll quickly open this in the CAM software and I'll show you that one very quickly, and then we'll go and get them cut and formed. So bear with me. Okay, just opened the part in Kanban. The observant among you will notice a little subtle change to the original drawing I had opened a minute ago. I just decided to change the way the corner works for when I form that particular part. It wouldn't have made much difference for such a small part like this, but I think it's good to start to add this feature into a lot of our parts anyway, so it's good to make it fit with the theme. So I went ahead and did that. Okay, I am Kanban. It's very simple to learn package, but it isn't as GUI oriented as, you know, Vectric and all the rest, which I've used in the past. It was okay, but for various reasons it didn't perform what I needed it to do when I started, and I found this much better for the metal work. It has its foibles, as they all do, but it works for me at the moment. So as with everything, you always start with the inside slots, inside holes, inside whatever. So I need to cut those slots first. So I'm going to profile cut them inside, because I use a 3mm bit, they're 5mm wide, it'll just do a nice little circle very quickly. I'm going to call it slots so I know what it is when I come to cut it. And I've got lots of styles already set up. So I look down here and I want a 3mm end mill aluminium 1 flute DLC slot. And that will give me my parameters that I need. What I do need to change is the depth, because this is a thicker metal. So I'm going to change that to 2. I'm doing it at 1350mm per minute. I don't know what that is in inches, I'll have to look that up. 24,000 RPM. And with a 3mm single DLC flute. So that will cut those slots. The next operation will be to cut the shape out. It's nice and easy, this one. I will call that shape. Again, I've got a style set up for this particular tool, this particular metal. 3mm end mill aluminium. There we go. And again, I want to change that to 2 and the depth to 2. I should add this has a spiral leading move, so it goes down, ramps down. It's called spiral here, but ramp in other software, it ramps down into it slowly. It's got some holding tabs. I've listed 3 here. I'm going to change that to 1.4 because the metal's thicker. Let's just right click on that, generate the tool paths, and I can have a look where the tabs are. I don't like that one there, so I'll just move that one across, and I don't like that one being as close to that curve either, so we'll move that up, and I reckon that's it. So there we go, that's now in there. I can save the G code off, and then I can get this cut. So I'm going to do that with all the parts I've just created, and we'll get them all cut, and then we'll get them formed up so you can see how it goes. Okay, so back onto the CNC machine. So now that we've done the CAD and CAM, we've got that programmed in, we can now add it to our CNC. I've got the computer down beside me, you can't see it, but it's down there. Just going to load it up on there, we'll get some metal on the bed of the CNC behind me, and we'll get this cut out. And okay, by the magic of YouTube and video editing, of course, we've now got our 3 parts cut. This is the one you saw me doing on the CAD cam, or a version thereof. This is another version of the same product, and then this is the one you saw me cutting out on the CNC, and they all do the same thing, but they all need different approaches to forming. But there's a couple of bits I've got to do before we get into the forming. The first one naturally is obviously clean up the tabs. You know, I leave tabs on, horrible things like that, so we're going to take off the tabs and a general clean up to the metal. It comes off quite clean anyway. I don't know whether you can see that cut. I don't know, is that going to focus down that close? Come on, camera. Probably not. This on this camera. It's not like a phone. What sort of camera it is? There we go. Is that going to do it? No, just my ugly mug. Anyway, it comes off quite clean. Trust me. But it can always be better. So we'll show you. I'll go through the process of cleaning it up. So let's get the filing done. So I've got on here a fibre grinding wheel. This is a hard fibre disc, sort of fibre and resin. It's much tougher than a Scotch-Brite, but it's much softer than a wire wheel. Doesn't leave any marks on the other parts of the metal that the wire wheel would do. I've tried various different grinding discs over the years, but I found this one the best for cleaning up the edges of the metal. So if I just show you on this one here, and I'll do the rest off camera, but just show you this one and you'll see what it's like. So hopefully you can see what it's like now, and then we'll show you when it's finished. And as typical, battery died just as I started to film this. Right, let's get this one done. So what I do to start with is go around all the way around the edge. Sometimes the shapes are awkward, and there's not a lot you can do about it. If it was a fuller disc, it'd be much easier, but this is quite worn down. I'm not going to swap it just for that. We'll carry on. Okay, and then I do the edges like that, so just a slight angle, and I'm just sort of deburring. And there we go, so hopefully you can see that it's, well, it's going to show, possibly not. But I've just taken off the tool marks that were left on by either from the CNC machine. Right, so I'll finish the rest off, then we'll get them over to the bender. Okay, right guys, so I'm now over at my bending machine. This is obviously a machine to bend stuff. We'll have to move you in a minute when I start filming. I will start bending it, but I wanted to quickly show you some of the bits on this that are quite relevant to what we're doing. There are tons of different press brakes you can buy. I'm going to call it a bender for the sake of argument in the video, but the technical term is press brake. This one happens to be a 3-in-1. It's got a shear underneath the press brake, and then above here, which that was shot, hang on, I've got some rollers. I can roll curves into sheet metal and wire strips. Okay, the important bit here is the bendy bit, sheet metal bender. So hopefully you can see that okay. The first bend is going to be 10 millimeters, and the first bend, and there is, when you're doing some bending, and by the way, if you want me to go into more detail on this kind of stuff, I'm more than happy to do that in future videos, but there is normally an order to which you bend things. These parts aren't exceptionally complicated, so it won't matter too much which way I do it, but it is important to get A, the right way up, and B, in the right order to some extent, so that I can actually bend it. So this one goes in, it's pushed against the backstop at the back. There is only a little bit of metal to make contact. There's a lot of gap here, so I have to be very careful of how I'm holding it. push that down, and we bend that up. And that's our first bend. Okay, I've now got that set up again for the second bend on this particular one. Bit of a fight, it was playing up. But this is nice and easy because I can reverse it in this way. As I say, all benders are slightly different. This one has the benefit of, because it's vertical, there's quite a few bends we can do. And obviously it's got these teeth, so I can move these around. There's quite a few more bends we can do on this than some other press brakes allow. But it is limited on thickness. But its repeatability is really good as well. So that's the other reason why I chose this particular machine. But now we just look to bend that down there like that. And it literally is as simple as that. And that's that one part done. Just need a bit of a clean up inside those holes. Take the tape off, remove the marks on the inside, and that's it done. Right, I'll carry on doing the rest. I've got a couple more of them bits to do, and then we're going to have a look at them. So there we have it, folks. From a simple inquiry, I've got 3 potential options. This one needs a bit of work. I didn't quite get enough meat on there for when the fold went in. It kind of distorted there, but it gives me an idea. This one is mostly to go inside vans. Naturally, when these guns are inside vans, they will rattle around as the vans drive along. And the last thing I want is to have it jump off. So that was what the thought process behind this one was. I've left a bit of a room because there is different sized guns with some slightly bigger ones you can use. The holes here were designed to allow for a Velcro strap to be pinned behind the wall, come through here, and then just fastened on the front, just to you know, hold it in place a bit further. So it's kind of, you know, it's up to the user if they want to do that. So that was one. One for the interior vans or mobile detailers. That one is for someone who's already got the nozzle holder, which the concept came from. So they can just simply attach the gun on there. It will actually hold it in a multitude of ways. Straightforward gun holder. And then that one is, you know, a combination of the two. Incidentally, this one has the nozzle holders down the side as well. But this one again, it can hold the gun in different combinations depending what the user wants, and obviously with the nozzles therein. So yeah, 3 new products, all because a customer said, can you do X? And this is kind of the point of the video, is that communicate with your customers, make sure there is ways they can get in touch with you and ask questions, because you just never know when they may give you an idea for a product that hopefully will go on to make you lots of money. So anyway, thank you for watching. Like I said, if you want me to go into more detail about the particular software I use, I'm not by no means an expert on it, but I'm, you know, fairly confident on the sheet metal side. Ditto the metal forming, I can explain a lot more about the forming process. You know, obviously this one's a bit more complicated to fold. It's still not one of the most complex parts to form, but I still have to think about it because different bits were getting in the way of the machine as it was being folded, and these are the things you've got to consider when you're making parts. And I understand that when you're first starting out, that can be a bit daunting. But with just a bit of thought, once you get used to the equipment you've got, it doesn't take long to grasp the principles of it. And heck, you will make mistakes. I still make mistakes, like not leaving enough meat on there. I made a product the other day where I put a flange in the wrong place, and the flange was right in the smack of the part. I bent the wrong bit to start with, and that made it far more awkward to bend the second fold into the part. I managed to do it, but it wasn't as easy. I quickly rejigged the part so that that never happens again. In theory, I should always form them in the same way, but just by rejigging it slightly, you know, I've negated that if I forget the order I'm supposed to form it in future. Anyway, there you go. That's my quick rundown on creating and how we go about making new parts. Hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it does help. And we'll see you again soon for the next video. Take care.